Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Undisciplined Mind podcast for Thursday, August 18th, I believe, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So, we live in this house, and it is a truism that in a house, there's always something to be fixed. It just never fails, right from the get-go. We literally walked into this house when we bought it, and there was something that needed fixing. It just never fails. There's always something that needs fixing. So, yeah, and that just goes, you get to own the house. It's yours. You own everything, especially now that we got the mortgage paid off. That means everything that breaks is my responsibility. No, some of it I do myself, and some of it I might hire out. Like, I'm not going to try to fix my garage door that's the metal slowly tearing. We'll bring somebody in to fix that for us. But some things I can handle. And so last week, I had bought, we've got some of these impact sprinklers. And that's the one where they got the little weighted thing that the water pushes it, and it pushes it back and forth, And I didn't even know what they were called. I found out when I had to buy a new one last week, and it said on there, that's what it's called, impact sprinkler. Now we know. There's your informative tip for today. But I had a couple that were not functioning properly, and I went out and bought this tool. It cost $5. It's a tool that allows you, if you're not familiar with this type, they come in a plastic vessel. And then the water comes in from wherever the water comes in from, and it pops up. And so the actual impact sprinkler mechanism is inside of this plastic vessel. So it pops up and does this little watering thing. And then when the water turns off, the water pressure goes away, it goes back down. So this tool is for removing the innards. So you can leave the plastic vessel in the ground, but you can remove the innards to look at the innards and do whatever you have to do with them. So my hope is I knew I had two that were bad. I wanted to see if I could use this tool to remove the innards, and maybe they just need adjustment or something, and then I can put them back in and maybe save some money, because these are like $18 a pop to replace the things. So I did the one in the front yard, and the little plastic thing was totally full of dirt. I mean, it was just, and I had to pull all this dirt out by hand to get it to the point where I could put the wrench on. That was just to get the wrench on the damn thing. So I pulled all the dirt out, and I got the wrench on it, and I was able to get it out, and I cleaned it off with the hose, and I could see where the problem was, and it was just like it got a little jammed up. This piece moved too far in one direction, so I got it back where it was going. This looks like it ought to work. And I put it back in. Went to the other one, which is in the backyard, and that one I pulled out, and like half of the impact mechanism on the top was gone. So I just had to replace that bit. I mean, there was no way around it. I have to replace that bit. So I went and bought the thing at the store, and then I just took the insides out of that and put it in the plastic container that's in the ground. So I didn't have to do any digging, which was nice, because you got to dig for those. I mean, they're almost like 8 inches long or something like that. So you got to do a lot of digging to get to it. It's a lot more involved than you might think it is. And I went and tested them, and the front one was working. The front one was the one that I fixed. And it was working, but I don't know that it was working super great. I'm like, well, we'll see how long that lasts. And the back one worked just fine because it was brand spanking new. Of course, then I found another one I got to fix. That'll be Saturday's job. I got to pull that one apart. Same deal. It's just not popping up, and so I'm going to take it out and see what the deal is on Saturday. But so this morning, I work from home, obviously. The sprinklers are going off, and I happen to be near the front door, and that sprinkler that I fixed is right there by the front door. And I stepped outside and on the porch, and I'm watching it, and it was doing its little impact thing going back and forth. And I was inordinately pleased that that thing was still working here. It's been almost a week and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I do sometimes get a bit of pleasure in seeing the work that I do last for a little bit. There are some times that it's rather scary. Before we lived here, we lived in a double wide trailer, and we bought it from somebody else. And unless you put in some money, some extra money when you have them build your trailer, they don't put any of these water shutoffs. You don't have any water shutoffs for your toilets or for your sinks or anything like that. So if you need to shut off the water to a sink to replace the spigot, you've got to turn off the water to the whole stinking house. It's a pain. It's a pain in the butt. But they make these, and it's all this plastic, gray plastic piping. There's no copper or anything in these things. It's all this gray plastic piping. And we had this bathroom, this toilet in the master bathroom that had to change out the innards enough that I went and got a shut-off for it, a compression fitting. You had to use a compression fitting. And I put it on there, and it was on there. We were there 10 years. It was probably on there for like at least half the life that we were there. So 10 years or 5 years. I can do math. 5 years. And I was nervous about that thing because it's just a compression fitting. So all that means is you've got a metal ring that's on the pipe that's kind of digging into it, and you've got a little screw nut that goes over top of it, and you've screwed that into the shutoff valve, and it's just kind of like it's just because that metal ring is just kind of digging into that plastic pipe a little bit. That's the only thing holding it together. You screw it in, but it's just like, if you kicked it really hard, it would pop out and water go everywhere. I was scared to death of that thing the entire time we were there. It never popped out once. I mean, I'd be back there working, or we'd be moving the trash can, and we'd knock it, and I'm always petrified with plumbing anyway. I don't do a ton of it, and I certainly don't do anything where I'm soldering, like on copper. I'll do a little bit. I can replace the faucet, and that's about as. But I tell people I'd much rather do electrical than plumbing, and they go, "Really? Why? Electrical is so dangerous." I was like, when I get done with electrical, I don't have to worry about a puddle of electricity being all over the floor. So plumbing always makes me nervous anyway. But so yeah, it's sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's just because it's always in the back of my head. I know I did that, and I don't really trust it. I don't really have anything like that now, which is nice. So, although I might wonder about that one sprinkler, but it's doing good. We're at 6 days or whatever, and it's doing good, running twice a day. So 2 thumbs up. But that's really all I was thinking about today. I've been thinking about what I want to get done on Saturday, and looking with pride at my sprinkler. I thought I'd share that story with you, and you can think either A, Grady takes pride in his work, or B, what a weird guy. Which, you wouldn't be the first one, you wouldn't be the last. I will be back in the car tomorrow. I'll be talking to you then. So, be seeing you.